amazing.
In the Navy. Oh, I like that. What a lovely
yes,
hip
darling.
action.
Years of practice. Years and years of training.
Could this show get any camper? No. What a great weekend. Sometimes following Halloween can be a bit tricky, but they were all brilliant this weekend. But I did notice, and a lot of other people noticed, the scores were all a little bit lower this week. Why, pray tell?
Because we are being tougher as judges and we're looking for little things that are slightly wrong now rather than just huge swathes and chunks of mistakes. So it's good. I like that. I love it when it gets to this stage because it's a lot more fun for me to nitpick, and it's a lot more fun.
I don't know what you're saying. You always nitpick, though.
Well,
I think,
guess
don't
I
you?
do, but
And
I mean, I've handed out 9s though.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, one, I think,
have
at
we?
least.
Yes. Oh, yes, we have. Yes, we've had
yes.
one. We're waiting for the 10. Maybe this weekend. Who knows? We're halfway through at the moment. Who would you say is the one to watch out of our celebrities?
Well, I think Pixie is proving to be absolutely brilliant in every area. You see, some people are great at the ballroom, some people are great at the Latin, and it's really, really difficult to do both. And she is one, I think, to watch, definitely. Also, Jake. Even though Jake's been having a really rough time at the moment, well, what appears to be a rough time, because he's got an enormous learning curve to get through now, and I think he'll probably crack Blackpool, to be honest. I think getting over those last 2 dances, which are very, very difficult. You know, the rumba is an absolute nightmare for men. So I think he'll come out of this with an upper hand,
Flying
to be honest.
high.
And so I'm wanting him to sort of really go for it.
OK, well, here he is, actually. Speaking of his rumba, I was really moved by this performance, but it did seem that you judges were a little bit disappointed. Why the sad face, Craig?
Well, there has to be a little bit more to it. You know, I was expecting that he would have worked really, really hard on the hip action, and well, it was there. I did say that it was there, but it just needed to be exaggerated a little bit more. So we could see it, and then the cameras could at least pick it up, you know. And it's a shame that he didn't just relax into it a little bit more, and even if it felt awkward, just do it. Because then we see him trying, you know. But I think he's a very focused and intense person who wants to do really, really well, and he's a very professional person. So I think it's great that he comes in to the competition with that, but also you sometimes just have to throw caution to the wind, and
just
what
go
will
for
be
it.
will be.
Give it some welly. Judy and Anton and their Paso Doble, which I loved. We've watched it about so many times. Saying, look at that! You see, wasn't that really good? That banana kick or whatever you call it.
Prima ballerina, darling. You know, with all of that. I can't wait for the 32 fouettes on point. You know,
you only gave her a 3 again. Was there no improvement for you then, for Judy this week?
No, not really. Okay. No, there hasn't. I want to say yes, a vast improvement. I do want to say that, and I'm willing her to learn and be fantastic. You know, I'm not there to be hypercritical, really, and I'm not there. Well, I know that sounds wrong, but I'm not, and I'm there to encourage, you know. And I would love to love, nurture, and embrace everyone, but I can't. That's the pros' jobs. We're there for 10 seconds to say what we think, and it really was like a little bit of a trek in the Scottish Highlands, sadly.
How long do you think she'll stay in the competition, though? Because people obviously love Judy.
Blackpool's going to be her finale. So
is that what you think?
Yes.
OK, all right. Yeah, the gasp from Pat, the cameraman there, he's not sure. Caroline and Pasha and their waltz. A bit of a shocker, Caroline being in the bottom 2. Gorgeous Alison. Did you see that coming?
No, not at all.
I'll tell you who saw that coming. Eamon Holmes saw that coming on the show last week. Well, he called it. He did, Mr.
That's,
Eamon.
I think, because people think she's good, and people think, oh, yeah, they've had training before, but I don't believe any of that. I think if you have had training before, it's really, really difficult to retrain your body to do another genre. And it's far more difficult, I think. You know, if you've studied ballet at all, you're completely turned out. Your hips are turned out. You've got to then learn to turn everything in to be in line with your partner, you know, for instance, in the ballroom stuff. So I think it's tough. And I think if you're in the middle of the leaderboard, it's a nightmare because people aren't voting one way or the other.
I know, they go top. They tend to vote for the people at the top or the people at the bottom.
You either need a massive you know, wardrobe malfunction, darling, or fall down the stairs and break a leg or something.
Well, and then people pick up the phone.
Well, yeah, they do.
Okay.
But I mean, you know, it's really tough when you're in the middle, and then that happens. But the beauty about the dance-off, I think, is it encourages the people that are in the bottom to work that little bit harder and go for it.
All right. Simon and Christina and their quick step, you said he's fast becoming a contender. Were you surprised to hear yourself say that?
Yeah. I didn't expect that he would go to these levels, I promise you. I just thought, OK, yeah, he's made a nice improvement there and he's doing really, really well, but he's actually starting to look like a proper dancer. And that sends a little bit of a shiver down my spine, which I love. I absolutely adore it. I know.
That's what the competition is all about. Mark and Karen and their waltz. You didn't have a chance to say much. You said it was amorous. Anything you would like to add?
Well, I thought he did really, really well. I was slightly concerned about his posture, if I'm being honest.
Why? What's wrong with his
only
posture?
because he does tend to want to fold in on himself, and that's only when he's starting to think about his footwork. But I think he is doing really well, and I'm really amazed, actually, at that guy. Really amazed. And he also gave me one of his calendars.
Oh, did I?
Yes,
you got a calendar. I didn't get a calendar.
So I gave him an extra point.
Oh, did you?
Yes.
There we go. Bribery is working. Right, Frankie and Kevin and their samba. Now, you were really mean to Frankie. You said it was her worst dance and you made her cry.
Yeah, well, I don't think that's mean. I think that's true. That is honest. This is absolutely.
Could you not have worded it in a slightly nicer way?
Not in 5 seconds,
after she'd worked so hard.
No, no. She's very good.
Yeah.
You know, she's not actually a dancer. I mean, she's doing really well with natural, gifted rhythm and movement. And I think she shocked and surprised herself that she made so many little mistakes that amalgamated into one big one. And I thought, actually, you know, that's really her worst dance. It really was. Not that I'm saying it's like Judy, you know, I'm not comparing that. I'm just saying that her personal best wasn't good that particular night. You know, she went wrong 3 times. It was messy getting off the floor. It wasn't the best at all. I mean, if you slow-mo it all and have time to do that, darling, you will probably agree with me.
OK, I'm scared now.
I gave her a big hug after the show.
Did you give her a hug?
We had a glass of wine. I gave her a big hug.
And that was all right.
And then we made
I felt really bad because we were upstairs in the auditorium having a Mexican party. Woo! With a piñata,
at my
and then she was
expense,
crying.
I believe, darling.
Yes, it was. Pixie and Trent and their foxtrot. Now, you've talked about how incredible she is.
Yeah.
You described this dance as simply gorgeous.
It was simply gorgeous. I mean, she can adapt to absolutely anything. And these are little nuances I love. When they came out of hold, they kept telling stories. It was really difficult timing. All those little heads, the little moves, the acting with it, and then getting back into hold. And they were just flying across the floor. Yes, they had a little help because she was a little bit further over on the side so they could stretch out a little bit more. They weren't as in line with one another as they could have been. But still, amazing routine.
Incredible. She is so beautiful to watch as well. Sinatra and Brendan and their foxtrot. Now, you said it would have been a beautiful routine had it not been for the mistakes. She was so upset afterwards. Well, where did she go wrong?
Anyone that gets on the wrong foot, it's really difficult return. Yeah. I mean, you probably know that yourself.
I've been there. I have. And it's ballroom.
I've done it too, darling. I did the Thriller set live and I went off on the wrong foot.
I'd love to have seen that.
Well, no, rewind. You go back on iPlayer or whatever, you can see it. It's all there for young and old. But it happens to everybody, you know, and it's about the recovery and being quick on the recovery. And that's where our professionals help out so much. You know, it's very difficult, I think, for the celebrity to then get back on the right foot after doing that.
We haven't got any time. Tell me some words about Steve and Ola.
Love them.
Great. Oh, brilliant. Steve will be well chuffed. Thank you very much, Craig Revel-Horwood. See you next week. Thank you, darling.